Hello everybody and welcome to Uprising 144K. I'm Hydrogen Man. Today I'm going to show you guys how to set up your 2018 Lourdes Hydrofix. First thing you want to do is watch the whole video, okay? The reason this is important is because as awesome as this machine is, you want to make sure not to screw it up. And so there's a lot of things that you could do that could potentially damage it. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing throughout the entire video, and then once you learn how to use it, it's super easy to use. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is figure out where you're going to place it. The reason you want to figure out where you're going to place it is because once you put water in it, you don't want to be moving it around. Why? Because you could damage it. So, actually, the other thing that I did too is you want to make sure to clean and rinse a few things. I mean, it was in shipping, it was in packaging. The first thing I did is I took the picture, you twist off the top, and then I actually just rinse this out with water. You don't want to use soap. You don't want to use boiling water. I just use regular tap water. I use my hand or something like a very soft cloth or even maybe paper towels. You just wipe down the inside, the bottom, the sides, everything. I took the hydrogen catcher out. I actually found out that the hydrogen catcher was a little bit grimy. So again, I rinsed it all off with my hand and tap water, and then I put a paper towel to just kind of wipe it off and clean it off. So this thing's all clean. For the most part, you don't want to be touching anything inside the pitcher. So if I ever do touch anything, I touch the tip and I make sure that my hands are clean. So that's the first thing I want to do. All right, so there we go. I chose that I'm going to have it here. The other thing you want to do is you want to take this new special H-type DI filter and you want to run water through it. I just ran tap water. Again, it's just to kind of clean out any grime that's in it. And then you can also shake it a little bit because there might be anything that's settled in there, so you kind of shake it and then you run water through there. I don't know, maybe 20, 30 seconds. Let some of the water drip down through the bottom. All clean. Everything's ready to go now. So you just kind of set it in here. It's super easy. Just pretty much put it in here. Let me see if I can get a shot of this. So here's a filter and you just slide it in. See how there's a hole in there? And you just let it go. That's it. That's how simple it is. And then you cover it. Super easy. All right, so the pitcher, same thing. You just put the top on it, twist it, and it's ready to go. So just make sure it makes a nice seal and make sure that this gasket is all lined up because sometimes it can pop out. And then you start and feel for it. See right here, it won't really drop in. It'll drop in right there. See how it just dropped? And then you twist it. It's all ready to go. And then right here, you got to make sure it all lines up. Here's a really important thing too. There's a little marker here on the machine and a little marker on the pitcher so that it all lines up. The reason it's important for it to line up is because there's pins here you can actually damage. These pins are actually redesigned because these are actually better now than the original. The original one, a lot of people could damage them or drop the pitcher on them the wrong way, and you can still do that with these, and it can actually potentially damage it. So you just want to make sure to line it up and put it on there correctly. And so you just line this up again like that, and then you just, there we go, drops in perfectly. All right, so when you plug in the machine, very first thing you're going to notice is the machine's calling for water. So this is the light that you're going to see for it calling for water. So this is where it gets really, really important. You literally need 100 cc's, which is also equivalent to 100 milliliters. That's the only amount of water maximum that this machine needs. Do not overfill it. If you overfill it, you can actually damage the machine. So I just take 100 milliliters, and look how little this is. This is actually a very different thing than the original Lourdes. There's a reason for this. When the Japanese redesigned this machine, they found that if you use less water, you're actually going to keep the whole unit cleaner. When you would overfill it, I believe that the old unit used about 4 times the amount of water, and it would sit in there, and the filter would sit in the water, it would be stagnant, a lot more grime would build up, and it just wasn't good. So when the Japanese redesigned it, they're like, it's better if you use less, so you might find yourself adding more water, you know, every week or whenever the machine calls for it. It'll tell you when it's needed. So here we go. So here's the filter, and this is all you do. You take the amount of water you need, and you literally just pour it right in there. Make sure it goes right in the filter. And then if it's an overflow, stop. See how it's reaching the top of it? But here we go. I'm just gonna pour all of it. See? There we go. And that's it. It's super easy. If you lift this pitcher up, look at this. You'll see the water came down right in there. Now you'll actually notice, I don't know if you can see it on camera, the water has a little tint to the color, and that's just the stuff that's inside the filter. It may eventually go away. I used filtered water. The beautiful thing about this machine is that you can actually use just about any type of water. It can be distilled water, RO water. You can just put about any water you want, but look how it stays, you know, to a certain level. See how it stays right here to a certain level? That's really important, because if you overfill it, it's gonna touch these electrode pins, and that's what you don't want, because that's gonna damage it. So, perfect. So all we gotta do now, this is how easy it is. Now I just put the pitcher on. Anytime the machine needs more water, this light's gonna come on. If and when the light comes on, the amount you wanna put is 50 cc's or 50 milliliters, not the 100. The 100 is the full amount that the machine will take when it's completely empty. The light will come on when it needs 50. And if you want to be really cautious, you could probably put 25. And if that doesn't work, then another 25 to make that 50. So there we go. All right, now let's just make some hydrogen water. Woo! All right, first batch. So the old machine, you used to have to wait. You used to have to run the hydrogen mode a lot of times, maybe like 2 weeks, even a month, to get it fully broken in. The new machine doesn't need that. Again, they increased a lot of the quality stuff. And so here we go. I brought some water with me. I like distilled water, so let's fill it up. This is the very first time I'm going to be running this machine. And from everything I've read, it literally needs one running to be broken in. And even in the first running, it's going to make over 1.0 ppm. So there's actually a line here. I don't know if you guys can see it from the video, but there's a little line there. Oop, just reached it. It's right here. And that's 1.5 liters. And you know, that's all you really need to fill it up to. The difference between this one and the old one is 1.5 liters to 1.8 liter. It's almost exactly the same, but this one's gonna give you a lot more hydrogen. And usually what I would recommend is when you're gonna put on the top, I would recommend taking off the whole unit, the whole pitcher I mean, because you don't want to be twisting the whole thing and kind of screwing something up. So here we go again. See how I just dropped again? There we go. Made a real nice seal. Look how the hydrogen catcher just kind of stays in there real nice. So let's just run it for the first time and see what happens. So this is how easy it is. You just have to push it once. Boom. That's it. Push it once, 30 minutes. The reason I really like the way that the Japanese did it here, because they know that anybody who's going to be drinking this water wants the full hydrogen out of it. Why? Because, you know, if you want the real potential of what it can do for you, then it's going to just go to 30 right away. You know, in the old machine, I used to have to push the button 3 times to get up to 30. This time, I just have to push it once. I like how they redesigned it. They got a little thing here. It's like a little hydrogen meter. It kind of shows you where roughly the hydrogen is at. And basically, right now it's showing you the very first light, which is the lowest, and it's 0.8 ppm. I'm sure it's not even up to that yet. And then eventually it's going to keep going up and up and up. It shows 1.2 ppm, but from everything I'm reading, you know, you have to understand that the Japanese are really conservative about their numbers. So usually when they rate something, they like to underrate it, because it's kind of like you under-promise but over-deliver, and that's the way the Japanese tend to do things, and it looks like that's what they did with this machine. So again, totally perfect. So right now it's going to be running for about 30 minutes. It's interesting actually, because the amount of bubbles that this is going to be making, I can already tell that it's going to be making more than this. And if you can see them for a very first running, if any of you guys have ever seen the original Lourdes run for the first time, it'll make virtually no bubbles. It'll make very, very little. Right now it's actually breaking itself in, and it's doing the break-in process, but it's so much faster in the way that they made the machine. So we're going to see these bubbles for just this first running. I wouldn't doubt that in like 15 minutes, you're going to see a lot more bubbles. So that's already quite a bit. It's all ready to go. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to wait 30 minutes here and waiting for the hydrogen water to show you guys, how to make this, because I want to show you a couple other options. But I will show you for right now. Look how the hydrogen catcher is nice and floating right here. When you go to pour a glass, it's going to self-adjust. A really nice thing. You can't break it like the original Lourdes. Now see, that's the thing. I love the original Lourdes, don't get me wrong, but they've really improved it here. I can already tell by spending very little time with it that this thing, I mean, just by the feel of it, the quality of it, the way that it was thought out, it was very Japanese. The Japanese really think of everything. And they love to take sometimes other people's ideas and improve upon them. And that's really what they did here. It's beautiful. I love what they did here. I'm really excited. I can't wait to drink my first hydrogen batch out of this. But look at this thing. It's already, I can already see the amount of bubbles that it's making compared to the old Lourdes. It's unbelievable. It's only been 2 minutes. That's awesome. All right, so this is another thing I want to show you guys while it's making the water. I got out this little glass of water. For all you guys who are interested in the breathing part of the machine, which I totally am, here is the breathing cannula and setup right here. This is one of the big reasons that I'm really interested in the new machine. Yes, the new machine has better quality. Yes, this machine makes better hydrogen water actually in the end. It makes more hydrogen water. It does all these things that are really ultimately better from everything that I'm already seeing. But this is the big kicker. Because breathing in hydrogen and drinking hydrogen water are both keys to getting covering every basis when it comes to your hydrogen intake. So this new unit has a new top. There's a reason that they put a new gasket. I don't know if you guys can see this on camera here, but look how they got a nice little gasket. Make sure that when you're making hydrogen water, do I have a little ant crawling on me? Wow, look at that. All right, check it out. This new gasket, if it ever slips out, see this right here? If the gasket slips out, just make sure if it happens to slip out here and you're putting the top on and it won't go on right, it's because of this. Make sure to put it right here on the outer edge. See, so it makes a nice seal. The seal is super important to making the hydrogen gas you're gonna be breathing in. So what you would do, and I don't recommend for everybody to do this, but normally you'd wanna take the pitcher off, but I'm gonna hold the pitcher, twist it carefully. There, I took it off. This one also has a hydrogen gasket. No, it's just a gasket. Anyway, it has a gasket on there too. So if I'm ever going to touch the hydrogen catcher, I just touch the tip of it. And I always want to make sure to keep it clean, so I might wipe that off later. I'm going to set it down there for now. All right, so the new top, this is how you're going to breathe it. I'm going to show you guys this while it's making hydrogen water. So you would put it on top, and then you twist it until it falls. I'm not forcing anything, and I'm waiting for it to line up. So I'm keep waiting. Oh, there it goes, see? It just lined up. Now that it's lined up, I'm gonna hold the pitcher. Normally I would have the pitcher off the machine. This is just because I'm showing you guys because I don't want it to be on here and twist anything and break anything. But then you twist it, and it's actually really hard because it's making a super good seal. And I don't know if you guys could see that, but I just twisted it on there. It's a really nice fit. And then what you do, here's the new headset right here. All right, so this new headset's probably gonna go like this. So, totally adjustable. This part, you wanna make sure when you take the tubing, and I can tell right away from the tubing because I've read a lot about this, the hydrogen can escape through the tubing. If anybody gives you some little $10 or $20 tubing, it's probably just kind of ridiculous because the hydrogen's gonna escape through the tubing. The Japanese realized this, so they made a heavy duty special material tubing so that the hydrogen won't escape through it. Because when they actually measure it, and this is a big problem that I've noticed with a lot of hydrogen machines, they measure the hydrogen from where it's coming out of, which will give you a false reading because you're not gonna be breathing it where it comes out of. You're gonna be breathing it right here, right where the little nose piece is. So in Japan, when they measured these, they measured it right where the nose piece is gonna be releasing the hydrogen. That's super important. So here's what we do. Here's where you're gonna be hooking up the hydrogen tube. When you hook it up, you don't wanna just put it in there and be lazy, all right? You wanna put it in there, and you probably can't see this on video, but I'm pushing it even more, and then when I finally feel the threshold, it stops. All right, so it's nice and snug. You want it nice and snug. You don't want this thing slipping out when you're breathing in, you don't notice or something, all right? So there we go. And then this part, this is the other end. This one you put on the top here. And the same thing, you don't want to just kind of put it on there and be lazy about it. You want to make sure that it's a nice fit. Here, I keep pushing it in. There we go. See, it goes all the way down. Nice, snug fit. And then ultimately, you just put this thing kind of behind your head here. And you just kind of grab the thing like this. You put it behind your head. And you put the little nose piece. Make sure the nose piece is pointed up towards your nose. And then you can adjust it from here. Pure hydrogen. This is exciting actually because I've really been wanting an apparatus that you can actually breathe the hydrogen from. And this makes it simple because now you've got a machine that makes the water, and the best water you can make, non-electrolyzed, no chemical reaction happening in this water. And then the hydrogen is 99.999% pure with no other gases or anything in it. And you know what's interesting about this hydrogen machine, and I don't think I've seen any other machine do this, is that the hydrogen gas that it's producing, it's going through the water. So it's going through here and then it's releasing the gas up here, which is where you're catching it. and then you're gonna be breathing it in. Now, if you wanna test for it, this is really interesting too. This is a whole different test. They have special equipment in Japan where they actually measure, they tested all these machines and how they work, and they test it from here, right here, the little nozzle. But if you ever wanna test it, you would need a really expensive machine, so you're not gonna be doing that. But what you can do is, you can pull the tube just to make sure you're getting the hydrogen, and you can put it in a tiny little glass of water. You just want a very small glass of water. And when you put the tube in here, you're not gonna see a bunch of bubbles or anything, because as long as the machine's making bubbles, you know that it's making hydrogen. But what you are gonna see is you're gonna wait time, and see there's nothing coming out of there. It actually takes time. Now see, right now it's out of the water. Put it back in the water. Now it's going to take some time. You're not going to see anything right away. This is completely normal. The machine is actually pumping hydrogen gas slowly that you would basically be breathing in. And what you should see, and actually you probably want the little tube here at the surface here. And what you are eventually going to see, and it just takes time for it to see that little tiny bubble that's coming out of there? That's pretty much it. Oh, I just released the bubble. But if you wait long enough, you're gonna see, oh, there was another bubble. Right down the surface of the water. You see the little tiny hydrogen gas. It's very small. And if you just keep on waiting, eventually it'll push through and you'll see a little bubble blow through. This is exactly the way it's supposed to be. I know it seems kind of weird. There's that bubble again. See, it's around the surface of the water, and it's in a very small glass because of the pressure. And so you're seeing all these tiny little bubbles, and this is basically what's showing you the hydrogen gas is coming through. Now notice I'm right on the surface where there's less pressure, because if I push it down in here deeper, it's going to require more pressure. But the hydrogen gas is slowly just coming out slowly. So if I go to the closer part of the surface of the water, see how it's just coming out? So basically this is letting you know that it's making hydrogen water. But here's the thing. Yeah, you can do this little trick to see that it's making hydrogen water, but there's actually an easier way. As long as the machine, oh my gosh, look at that. It's already making more bubbles. That was quick. 10 minutes. 10 minutes it took for these things to really start getting broken in. I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but there's a bunch of tiny little nano bubbles everywhere inside this pitcher. It's awesome. This is so cool. All right. So anyway, so I got this top on it. I'm going to go ahead and remove the top. This was just to show you guys how the breathing apparatus works. But if you notice, when I did the breathing part, I took the hydrogen catcher out of this, machine, because you don't want the hydrogen catcher in it when you're doing the breathing part, because that's just going to catch all the hydrogen that you're supposed to be breathing in. So okay, so I'm going to take it off. So I'm going to hold the pitcher very firmly, because again, I don't recommend doing it this way. I do recommend taking the pitcher off, but I'm holding the pitcher real firmly, and this thing is really on there. So I'm going to twist it, and there we go. I released it. And there you go. You can see all the hydrogen gas bubbling up right there. Super easy to, take care of this thing and use it. You just have to know what you're doing. But hopefully this video really helps you guys, because that's kind of what I really want for everybody. Just, I don't want anybody to mess it up, because, the amount of effort that went into making this machine so that people can use it in the correct manner and get the results that they're ultimately wanting. Just want to make sure you guys are using it correctly. So here we go. Here's the other top again. You never go straight on it. You go crooked. See that? And then you start twisting it where it goes straight, and it'll drop. Oh, see it dropped right there. Now I can feel that it's all lined up. Hold the pitcher. Twist. Boom. Perfect. So super easy. That's how easy it is to use this thing. If you ever see this light light up, this is the light that's telling you it needs water. When it's telling you it needs water, it doesn't need a full amount. Remember that the full amount was 100 cc's, basically 100 milliliters. The full amount is not what the machine's gonna need when the light comes on. The light's gonna come on when you're short about 50 cc's or 50 milliliters. Look how little that is. That's a super small amount of water. So you wanna make sure, my recommendation is to go 25 cc's, half of what they're recommending, because you don't want to overfill it. Again, you do not want to damage the unit. So if you go like 25 milliliters or 25 cc's, all you do is you get that water and you pour right in here. Make sure it goes right into the filter. You know, they really try to control the control panel, like protect it, because the old model, you could just pour water into it and it would damage it. But you just pour it right in here and that's it. And the light will go off. You just boom, put the cap on. So much easier than the original Lourdes, because the original Lourdes, you had like this cap, you had to like take it off, and then you didn't really know the amount of water, and you'd really overfill it. That's really what happened. You were overfilling the machine all the time. The filter would sit in the water. And look, I'm not saying that the previous machine was no good. I hope that's understood. It's just that this one, they've perfected. I mean, in my opinion, this is the best hydrogen generator in the world right now. All these parts are made in Japan. Everything was made in-house. Everything was to make the best hydrogen water. No gimmicks here, you know. They're not trying to alkalinize the water, which is already a huge misunderstanding. They're not trying to just get big ORP numbers by manipulating ORP numbers. And I want to make a video about that later, because ORP is a tricky thing and you can manipulate ORP. This machine, yeah, it does have a negative ORP. And I believe it goes up to something like negative 700, and it depends on what kind of water you're using. The thing is that the negative ORP that comes from this machine is due to pure hydrogen. Nothing else, no gimmicks. It's awesome. It's really great. So here we go. That's how simple it is. Look how pretty the machine looks. And it's really small, which I really, really like, because you still get the amount of water that you really want. And then you can see the hydrogen catcher floating there. And it does have a, you know, this is kind of cool. It does have a 10-minute mode. So I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but there's a little tiny line right here. And it's not that much water. But if you were to fill it up to right there, and you were to want to go a 10-minute mode, you'd hit the button once, and then I believe you'd hit it twice. I don't want to mess up what's going on right now. Well, I guess we could do it here. So if I wanted to shut this off, I would first hold the button. So I'm holding it, and then it goes to 0, which is standby mode. That's how you get the standby mode. Now, if I want to hit the button one more time, I guess it stays on standby mode. So if I hit it one more time, let's see what happens. It just continues to stay on standby mode. Now, if I hold it, oh, then it's going to shut off. So if I hit it one time, that's 30. One more time, that's 10. So if you want to go to the 10-minute mode, I guess you have to go twice, because they probably don't expect most people to want to do the 10-minute mode. Most people just want the 30-minute mode. But if you ever do the 10-minute mode, if you fill it right here to this tiny little line, basically it'll make full hydrogen water in 10 minutes. So now you don't have to wait the 30 minutes, but it won't make as much water, which is no big deal, because some people don't want to drink the whole thing. So it's just a nice little option. All these little options. I still got to get familiar with the machine, but I just at least wanted to kind of put the video out so you guys know how to set it up. You'll see a tiny little hole here if any of you guys are noticing that. This is actually to reset the filter, because this light right here will actually light up when the filter is due. One of the cool things about this new filter is that it lasts a lot longer. The manufacturer basically recommends for you to change the filter about once a year. If it's going to be sooner than that, that light will light up. But once a year is going to be plenty, because this new filter, from everything I'm reading, is of really high quality. It's going to last a long time. You'll probably use it for a whole year and the light still won't light up. And if you want to be extra cautious, you can just change the filter at that time. I'm not even going to show you how to change the filter, because it was so easy. I mean, what you basically would do is you just open this up. Look how easy that is. You just grab the filter, you'd slide it out, and you put the new one in. It's just super easy. They just really made this so much nicer. I'm speechless. I don't even know what else to say anymore about this machine. I'm just really, really excited. I'm glad it's in the house. And the hydrogen, not to mention, I mean, I know the machine it says it makes 1.2 ppm, but I'm really expecting, from everything I'm seeing, it's going to make 1.5 ppm. You know, it's probably going to maybe even make 1.6 ppm, but I'm just going to say 1.5, you know, to be cautious. And so that way, it's getting full saturation. You really can't go above 1.5 to 1.6 ppm in our atmospheric pressure. So I'm really excited, guys. I hope you guys are excited too, because this is amazing. To me, this is the future, guys. This is the future. Hydrogen, for whatever, you know, whether it's for ailments or for if you just want to feel better, or for preventative, which is personally what I think is the best thing that it's used for. It's just awesome. And this is the only machine that I know of that is completely built in Japan. Believe it or not, I actually found this because of an email that somebody sent me. There's actually other machines that claim to be made in Japan. And what's really happening is these machines are made in China. And somehow there's some weird loophole in the law where people ship these machines to Japan, they unbox them, they literally wipe them with a cloth and say, hey, made in Japan. And they put them back in a box and they put made in Japan because everybody knows that the Japanese make these really great products. And so somehow the Chinese have found a loophole around it so they can say that the products are made in Japan, but it's not true. I've done extensive research on this, guys. This is the only completely made in Japan hydrogen generator. There is nothing better out there right now, but if there is, just know that I will always make new videos. Whatever the best hydrogen machine is, I will always be up to date on it, and I'll always make a video and get the product myself, of course, because whatever's the best, that's what I want. When it comes to hydrogen, I want the best. To me, hydrogen is priceless. I mean, this machine is awesome, all right? But the truth is, this machine is not hydrogen. I mean, this machine is literally extracting the hydrogen. It's generating the hydrogen. But hydrogen to me is what's truly priceless. I'm just glad that somebody went above and beyond to create a machine like this. Because you know what? If it wasn't for the few Japanese people who worked on this project, we wouldn't even have access to this machine. And that would be heartbreaking, especially for me, because it's magical. I know, people don't understand the magic of hydrogen. It is an amazing thing. It's an amazing molecule. And we're talking about something that is non-toxic. I mean, everything's toxic, even water. You can drink enough water and overdose on it. Hydrogen is that magical. You cannot overdose on it. It's completely pure. I mean, it's non-toxic. It's remarkable. And then again, study the science of what it does in your body. It's ridiculous. I mean, this picture right here, if the old Lourdes was saying that it has the antioxidative power of about 1,000 apples, this thing's got to be at like 1,300 to 1,500 apples. So add 300 to 500 apples on top of that. This is crazy. And then when you go to start breathing it, I mean, we're talking over 200 gallons of hydrogen water. I can't even begin to know where the numbers would be, because that would be like, I don't even know. Would it be like 1,000,000 apples? I don't even know. It gets to the point of ridiculousness. Hydrogen is awesome. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys watching the video. I really hope that this helped show you how to set it up, because it really is simple and easy. Sometimes when you read the manual, things can get kind of complex. Just don't overfill the machine, and don't move it around. Don't move it around while it's on, because one of the reasons that I set it up here is because I'm going to put this new apparatus here, which I already showed you guys, but the hydrogen breather part, I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to sit down right here, and I'm going to be breathing in my hydrogen. That's why I set it up here, and also so that way I can share hydrogen water with everybody. And so it's just really simple. And don't forget to do the proper maintenance on the machine. This machine's a little different. This machine doesn't have ozone mode. For those of you who didn't know, they eliminated ozone mode. The Japanese, when they were actually redoing this machine, they found out that ozone mode actually was causing problems with the way that the machine works. And it was kind of unnecessary, because it really wasn't making the proper amount of ozone to really do certain things. Because if you made too much ozone, it can even potentially damage the plastic. And so one of the big concerns that I've heard about, and I'm not a big plastic guy, but this plastic right here, they actually used a super high quality and grade plastic in Japan that they use for baby bottles. You can put boiling water in this thing, but don't. You don't want to put boiling water in this machine. You don't want to put any soap in this pitcher. You just want to rinse it out with water, grab a paper towel or something very soft so you don't scratch it, just wipe it down. But according to the manufacturer, you should use some citric acid to do the cleaning. I might do another video on that, but you put a certain amount of water. They say to do it every month. I'm gonna find out how this thing works with time, and I'll make more videos for you guys, but I know that they're very conservative in Japan, so I probably could even go maybe 2 months, but it all depends on the kind of water you use and how much mineral is in it. But I'll keep my eye out on that, but they recommend doing it once a month, and you're gonna put a certain amount of water, a certain amount of citric acid, make sure that it's 100% pure citric acid, nothing with any other additives, and you probably let it sit in there for, I don't know, I think it's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'll make another video on that on the update, but that's how you maintain it. Every month, you put a little water, you put some citric acid, you let it sit in your pitcher for a while, and then you just rinse it out quite a few times, and it's that simple. But I will make a video on how to update you on how to do that later, because I just got the machine, so I'm sure it won't be needing a cleaning for a while. Now, every week, or if you want to be really, really cautious, every day, at the end of the day, you can take the cap off, grab a paper towel or something really soft, and just kind of wipe it off. You know, just make sure it's clean. Wipe off the inside of the pitcher, make sure it's all clean, just to keep it sanitary. But again, don't use any soap, don't use any detergents, and do not use boiling water. So that's about all I can think of for right now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll make more in the future, so don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you really like the video. That makes me feel good. You know, that way I also know that you guys appreciated it. You want me to make more videos like this. And that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on the next video.